hit record. Sure, just a second. All right. All right. Back to it. I always like to see that red button to know that I'm recording. Okay, so here we go. Today we're going to spend a good solid hour talking about LinkedIn. Before we get started, I want to just pull to your attention the some events that we have coming up this summer. And in the chat, I'm sharing a link to our events page. Most of you have already been to our events page, but any happy hour, any programming, any type of event that alumni are invited to can be found on this events page. So next week, we are doing 3 happy hours. We're going to do 2 happy hours the same night. The first one's going to be in Winston-Salem at East of Texas. So if you're local here to the Winston-Salem Triad area, please join Stacy Owen at East of Texas, 5:30 to 7. At the same time, I'll be in Charlotte. I'm going to be at Suffolk Punch in South End, not South Park, but in South End. And then on the 31st, Carrie Ross and I will be over in Raleigh at the R&D Brewing Company. Again, 5:30 to 7. You can register right there on our events page. And we really hope that you'll come out and spread the word. Bring some Wake Forest Business School friends and meet some new people. But like I said, today we're going to spend this hour talking about LinkedIn, and it's really a non-negotiable when it comes to anyone who's in job search mode, but it's also super, super helpful for professionals to really be, up to date on all the trends in the world of business, depending on how you engage with the platform can certainly help you within your industry and functional verticals. And so the platform is super, super powerful, and it can really help you, with a lot of things. But most importantly, it will keep you linked back to the School of Business. And I'm going to show you ways that we use LinkedIn to get jobs in front of our alumni and our MBA students. I'm going to show you ways that you can find particular and specific alumni within different industry and functions and locations. But if nothing else, just know that the more you're on the platform, the harder the platform can work for you. So today, my presentation is divided into 3 areas. The first one is building a powerful profile and all the nuts and bolts that can go into your actual profile, how you're showing up on the platform. The second part, we're going to talk about networking and some best practices when it comes to finding connections and the way that you should connect with them. And then the third, last part, we'll talk about how to find jobs, how to set alerts, and I get a lot of questions about notifications. So I've got a slide that shows you how to manage your notifications. And I'm a very interactive person, so if you have questions, I'm gonna go pretty fast, but if you have a question, don't feel bad about interrupting me. I'm gonna try and keep my eye on the chat, but I could miss it. But if you have a great best practice or a tip or something that's worked for you on LinkedIn, I really want this to be an interactive session and a place where we can learn from each other. All right, so first, and this is right, building a powerful LinkedIn profile. The way you show up on the platform really has a lot to do with how hard the platform can work for you. I'm going to show you some specific ways and some do's and don'ts about your profile picture, your background picture, your headline that's underneath your name, the about section. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about skills and why they're important to your experience. We're going to talk about your education and the difference between Wake Forest University and the Wake Forest School of Business. Then I'll show you ways to add other sections as well, that can help tell a very, very impactful story about how you can add value to the workplace. And so let's start with the profile picture. If any of you have ever done any filtering on LinkedIn, I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. But for recruiters, right, and for anyone who is trying to use LinkedIn to find specific people, LinkedIn's going to curate a list, right? You're going to say, I want to talk to people that are in Winston-Salem, that work for Wake Forest University, that are that are in the career services space. When LinkedIn presents you that list, you actually see the profile picture and the headline, right? You don't see anything else. LinkedIn, you're going to make some immediate judgments, and you're going to have some immediate biases based off of that profile picture and the headline. So you really want to spend some time in thinking about this profile picture. You want it to be friendly. Number one, it needs to be a friendly face. Okay. I can't tell you how many LinkedIn profiles I'll look at, and they're not even smiling, right? And so you want it to be a picture that's got good lighting. LinkedIn suggests that it is shoulders up. So anything from your torso, like if you start, zooming out of the picture and you can see your torso and even your whole body, you get further and further away from the actual headshot. So think of the profile picture as a well-lit, friendly face, and you want people to look at it and think, that's somebody that I'd like to work with in whatever capacity, whether it's, working for someone, in a business scenario, or if you're using LinkedIn to curate sales lists, you want to work with people, right, who look like they're easy to work with. And you don't need to spend any money on getting professional headshots done here. These iPhones or even the Samsung phones that are out there take amazing pictures. This photograph was taken in portrait mode with my iPhone out in Farrell Hall in the lobby here on campus. So the lighting is really good. And so don't spend too much time on it. I also get some questions on whether you should be in a suit or not. And, I'll leave that up to you to decide. This is your professional brand. And so you want a picture that really best represents who you are. And so here in the School of Business, we don't wear suits every day. We dress in what we call smart business casual. And so, that's the kind of outfit that I have on there. But if you work in a bank, if you work in a very conservative industry, or for a very conservative firm, likes you to wear coat and tie every day, then it might be a good idea to suit up for your profile picture. The background picture is also an extremely important part of the puzzle here. And the reason is that when you are on your phone, if you're looking people up on your phone on the LinkedIn app, or you're on your laptop, right? When you go to someone's profile page, the landing page, this is what you see, right? And I have a screenshot, right? And so people are making immediate, right, decisions on who this person is. And so the background picture is actually taking up about a fourth of the page. And when you're on the phone, it takes up almost half of the landing page when you land on someone's profile. So really think about putting a photograph here that best represents your personal brand. And so I have a picture of the School of Business. Most of the people in my network are associated with Wake Forest, especially the School of Business. I want people to know this about me, right, when they land on my page. And so you want it to, you want it again to be a good quality picture that aesthetically is pleasing to the eye. And so there's tons of free photograph images that you can get right off the internet. And so really spend some time. Chase, you have a question. What's your question?
Hey Sharon, my question is related to the background picture there. Should we be concerned about it taking away from the photo itself, the profile picture? I don't want to, previously I had a background photo that I felt like sort of drew the attention away from my picture itself. And I guess what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a great question. I think it should be a complement to the photograph, if at all possible. I've seen some really sophisticated, we call them LinkedIn banner background pictures, where they've gone into Canva and created a very visually stimulating photograph as their background picture that includes a profile picture. And so I personally would spend more time on the background picture and making sure that's representing who I am and how I want to show up. But don't lose sight of making sure that profile picture is really good, because when that list is curated on LinkedIn, they're not seeing the background picture. They're seeing the profile picture and the headline, which we're going to talk about next. Does that help?
It does. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So let's move on to the
Hang on,
headline.
hang on,
Yes,
hang on, Sharon, real quick. On the
yes,
profile picture, I've been seeing more and more where people put like orange. So you wouldn't see in your profile picture, like right beyond your hair, it might have like an orange or a green or a blue. Just probably over the past 6 months or a year. And I've toyed with it. I'm too lazy. But just didn't know if what you thought. And I do love I'm tempted to steal your background picture.
you can steal it. I'll send it to you, so you don't even have to go look for it.
Because
I've
I'm
got it
wondering
in
if
my.
freshening them up sometimes is good for the algorithm in LinkedIn as
It is,
opposed
yeah.
to being the stale.
You're exactly right. We're going to talk about the algorithms in just a second, but those pictures that have those backgrounds that are different
Hmm.
color,
Hmm.
I'm guessing, I think it's a pretty good guess that they've gone to Canva and removed the background of the
Mm.
photograph and then
Hmm.
inserted whatever color they want. And they do tend to pop a little bit more on those curated lists. And so if you're interested in learning how to do that, I can show you how to do it offline. But Canva's if you've never used Canva, it is super easy. It's a graphic design platform that really makes it easy on people who are not graphic designers
Oh yeah.
to put some good work out there. And so I can show you how to do it. But I would say it would stand out in a curated list if you had a different color background there.
Cool. Thank you. Well, and to follow on with that, I was on a web conference last week, and it's kind of scary with this clay that they can, and Google Lens, they can go find your name and email based upon your picture. It's kind of cool in some ways if, I don't want it to be spammed, but whatever. And so they're just talking about keeping that picture for all of your properties or wherever you show up online, because it's part of like search juice that you don't want to be swapping out your profile picture all the time. And I was like, I never really thought about that.
I
So
haven't thought about that either. That's
yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
I like variety, so I like changing mine
Mhm.
up every
Yeah.
so often. I do a lot of these sessions as well, and so when I'm in the classroom with students, I'll show them how to do some things in real time. So I
Mhm.
end up changing it up a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
So the headline there underneath my name is another section that we really want people to think about. And back to my original comment about everything that I want the world to know about me is sitting in this quadrant of the LinkedIn profile. Okay. So when you land, if y'all have LinkedIn pulled up, if you go to my profile, if you search for Sharon Vogler, Wake Forest, and you click on view profile, this is everything that's showing up, right, for you without having to scroll. Now, you want them to scroll, you want to entice them enough, right, to want to scroll. But I really want everyone to know everything that I want them to know about me in this landing page. And the headline is a really purposeful and intentional way to clearly communicate who you are to the world of business in a very direct way. Now, I've used these little emojis. You don't have to use emojis. Again, I can show you how to get the emoji keyboard pulled up if you want to use them. It's just kind of I think they're cute and kind of visually stimulating. And so I think that it helps with my branding. But everything I want you to know about me is sitting there. For those of you who are in job search mode, if you are looking for a job, okay, then you need to use descriptive words and nouns that align for the type of job that you want. So let's, for example, use the scenario that I am currently working as a healthcare, a financial analyst for a healthcare company, for a hospital. But I really want to leave the hospital world and I want to go be a healthcare consultant. Okay. I would not, and that's my vision for myself. That's really what I'm going after. I would use the words financial healthcare consultant to describe myself, even though I've never held the title of consultant. You want to use and align yourself with the actual job titles that you're going after. So I'm currently a director. If I was in job search mode, I would probably continue to look for director level jobs. And so I would augment this to say director of career services, because that's if Wake Forest no longer needed my services, then I would be looking for a very similar role. So I would change it just slightly, but I'm not in job search mode. I'm in professional development for our alumni here in the School of Business and for our MBA programs. And so I would hope anyone who lands on this page knows that I'm a subject matter expert in job search and resume writing. I'm a fierce networker, right? I think I'm creative, and I have a specialty of working with college to career and career transitions. And so you've got some really good runway here. You've got there's a good amount of space there where you can really be very direct in the way you describe yourself. You really want to pay attention to your contact information. A lot of people don't check that section. I use this example because I do work with a lot of college students, right, who are in student mode, and they've used their student email address to sign up for LinkedIn, and they want people to contact them with their student email address. And then they leave Wake Forest, or they leave their school, and they don't update their contact information. Well, for those of you who don't know, when you're at Wake Forest, your Wake Forest student ID is only good for 60 days after you graduate. So you've got to go and create an alumni email address or use a personal Gmail address. And so really go in, for those of you who've had LinkedIn profiles for a while, go into your contact information and make sure that that email address that's there is, number one, relevant, and number two, you check it. Okay, so any notifications that you have turned on are going to go to that contact, the email address that's sitting in your contact. Any questions about this section?
No, I'm glad you mentioned it, because I just updated my website. It was Bank of America from years ago instead of my personal website. Sorry.
Right.
Duh. Thanks.
And so there's a lot of controversy nowadays about this open to work banner. And so you get to decide for yourself whether you think it's a good idea to turn this banner on. But I wanted to show everyone how you do it, right? So underneath your name and your followers and your connections, you'll see a button, I guess, for lack of other words to use there. I am. When you click that I am, it's gonna allow you to say that you're either open to work or you're hiring. So the purple banner, right, is I'm hiring banner. And the green banner is this open to work banner. And you get to choose, right, whether you want just recruiters to see it or all LinkedIn members. And so LinkedIn has a special subscription level called LinkedIn Talent Management. And if a company is paid for one of their or many of their the talent acquisition team or the recruiters to have this special subscription level of LinkedIn, and you select recruiters only, only people who have that subscription level will be able to see your green open to work banner. So if you're currently employed and you don't want your boss or any of your colleagues to know that you're searching, you either don't want to turn it on at all, or you have the option to return it on for just recruiters only to see. All right. But if you work for a really big company and they have provided this level, this subscription level to the recruiting team, then it could be possible that one of those recruiters could see it. But again, the likelihood of that is very, very, very low. Now, LinkedIn is a crowded space. And so there are a lot of green banners open. And this is where you have to decide for yourself whether you want to turn that banner on or not. Sharon's perspective is that if I needed a job and I was in job search mode and I wasn't currently working, why wouldn't you turn it on, right? It's just like one more touch point, one more conversation starter, one more way to get the word out that you are looking for a job. But again, some people have a different perspective on the open to work banner and choose not to turn it on at all. Okay, any questions? If you're hiring, turn on purple banner. I can't tell you how many times a day I'm attracted to that purple banner, and I'll connect with people who are hiring because the students that I serve and the alumni that I serve, I need to know all the people in the whole ecosystem, right, that are hiring. And I'll connect with them and I'll learn more about the jobs that they're hiring for. All right, the about section is like the summary section. And not a whole lot of people read this section. You have to have the section populated. You have to have it as a part of your profile to get all-star status from LinkedIn, but most people don't read them. And so I don't advise people to have like very long word walls, right, on your summary. You want to use it to embed keywords. And so I have used a bulleted approach, right? I have 2 sentences up at the top, and that's what you can see when you land on my page. And then you have to see more. You have to click that see more button, and then you can see these bullets that I have embedded lots of keywords. And so we're going to talk about that search, how recruiters and other people are using LinkedIn to find you. A lot of them are using keywords. And so you want to populate this section with as many keywords as you can. But again, a lot of people are not, they're not reading it. A pro tip, one thing that you might want to think about is taking your resume. You can copy your resume, you can paste it into ChatGPT, and you can ask ChatGPT to write. You can tell it even how many words or how long you want it to be to write a summary for your LinkedIn profile. And it is amazing what it'll spit out. Amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yes, Chase, question.
Hey, so I guess my question, now that you brought up ChatGPT, there are times when I have used GPT in the past, and I haven't had any sort of specific inputs to train this model of GPT. And it seems like the content that it will put out, even after 2 or 3 revisions of the content, still reads and seems like it is AI generated. And my question is, I guess I see content that I can immediately recognize as AI generated.
I can smell it out too. Yeah, I can spell it out. Yeah.
And my concern is I don't want to look like I'm just relying on that as a crutch.
That's a great comment, and one that I think about every single day. And so I always advise people when using any kind of AI content generator is to use it in a directional way. And so taking something that they output and augmenting it in your voice is super important part of the process. You can even ask it to just provide an outline, and then you can write it in your own voice. So yes, I can sniff it out in a second. I can get an email from a student or a prospective client, and I can tell immediately that ChatGPT has written the whole thing. And so it's not going to deter me from talking to the person, but it's going to automatically set, right, some bias in my brain. Like, this person's using ChatGPT too much, right? Are they not as smart as someone who maybe doesn't use it as much? So you do have to be really careful. So it's a good point. All right, let's jump into skills. The skills section is a very underutilized section of LinkedIn. And so up until a few months ago, LinkedIn had a restriction of the number of skills that you can attach to your profile. And that number was 50. And so all of the stuff that we were, learning about LinkedIn from master classes was that to use all 50 skills. Well, now that algorithm has dropped and there's no restriction on the number of skills that you can use. But let's just use 50 as a really good baseline. And the skills section it's very, very inclusive. So you would probably be surprised of how many skills are in there. But they're both hard skills and soft skills. And when I say soft skills, I like using the term power skill. Like some of the things that, like a technical skill or a hard skill is something that you can teach someone, right? Like Microsoft Excel and Power BI and Salesforce. Those are that's technology, right? A softer or power skill are things that are a little harder to teach. Things like leadership, communication, influencing, problem solving, critical thinking, all of those types of skills that are just as important, right, in the way you show up. And so you want to attach skills, right, to your profile. And then once you attach them to your profile, you can then attach them to the experience. And so with my current role, actually, this is not my current role. I need to update this slide. But in my last role, I was director of market readiness and employment. And I was able to attach these skills to this experience. And I am going to stop my share for just a second because I'm going to show you in real time why this is important. So let's share again, share, and then, oh my goodness, hold on, stop share. And then I want to go here, and I want to go to LinkedIn, and then I want to go back here, and then reshare. It makes me get so nervous when I jump screens. Okay, can everybody see LinkedIn now in real time?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, so let's go to my profile. And I'm going to just showcase for just a second that earlier point that I made. When we go to someone's profile and we land on their page, you see your profile picture, you see the background picture, and you see the headline. Over here in this quadrant, you can see where I work is the first category and where I went to school is the second category. So again, I have updated this. I just haven't updated my PowerPoint about the new job that I have. But when I scroll down and I look at my About Me section, right, you don't see all of those bullets. You're only seeing those first two sentences. So you're only really going to see 3 lines. So you want those 3 lines to be really impactful because your goal is to get them to click see more. And then it expands the entire section. The same thing happens down in the experience section, right? With my current role as Director of Alumni and MBA Career Development, you see the first 2 lines of my experience, and then you can see these skills that are attached to this experience, but you can only see the first 4 or 5 words, right? So you've got to see more. I don't have everything that's on my resume. I just have, right, the 4 bullets that I really want everyone to know about what I've accomplished in my role. And then with these skills, you have to click it and it'll expand it out to all of the skills that I have associated with this job. Okay. All right. To add them is super easy. Once you attach the skill to your profile, you come up and hit this button, the edit button. You got to hit it again under this role. And then when you scroll down, you can see skills. These are the skills that I have attached to this job, but you just hit add skill and presentation, public speaking. Let's just use presentations, right? And I hit save. And now that skill is attached to this job. And you want to do it because, right, when you're landing on the pages, that's what you're seeing. So, without pressing that see more, you want to tell your story in a very impactful, quick, direct way. And using skills is just one of those ways. So let's see if I can get back to my PowerPoint without. Can you all see my PowerPoint now?
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. Yay. I feel so successful. Okay. Any question about experience and skills? Just the highlights. This is not your entire resume. What you really want people to know. All right. Let's talk about education for just a second, because this is, again, I get a lot of questions about this, and I've got to make sure everyone is aware, right, of the differences between Wake Forest University and Wake Forest University School of Business. So depending on how you came in to LinkedIn and when you originally set up your profile, you either used Wake Forest University or you used Wake Forest University School of Business as your school, okay? And so just like it says, Wake Forest University is the whole Wake Forest ecosystem, right? Undergrads, law, medicine. If people work at Wake Forest, they've used this Wake Forest University selection. It's a drop down, right? But some of you may have just done your MBA or done a master's program at Wake Forest, and it's not your undergrad, right? So you may have been instructed or just intuitively used Wake Forest University School of Business, right? So there's less alumni sitting in that bucket than it is the larger Wake Forest University bucket. And it's important to know that any Wake Forester, right, this network is fierce, and it is helpful, okay? And so no matter what program or what major you had, any Wake Forester is going to help another Wake Forester. So I don't want you to, if you're just in the School of Business, to narrow your search and your focus on connecting with other alumni that are just in the School of Business, because you're selling yourself really short. You're really decreasing the amount of alumni that is equally as helpful for you. So we're gonna watch this play out when we start filtering. But there are two different schools that people use, and you have to look under both schools when you're sourcing and trying to find people. We don't care which one you use. We've tried to here in the Career Center in the School of Business to get everyone to use the main Wake Forest University school as their education, but there's still so many people out there that use Wake Forest University School of Business. All right, you can add volunteer initiatives that you're a part of. You can add courses, you can add certifications, recommendations, and interest. All of those are optional sections that you can add to your LinkedIn profile. And the way that you add them is just right underneath your name. There's another button there that says add a profile section. And once you select it, you can see all of the different sections that you can add. All right. So LinkedIn, let's talk about those algorithms that were mentioned earlier. So LinkedIn's very sophisticated in the way that they set these algorithms. They change them all the time. Once I think I've got it figured out, they change something, and some of my demonstrations won't work. So they're constantly changing the algorithms. They're constantly changing the features and the functions of the platform. But I will tell you this, is that you have to think about your engagement on LinkedIn, right, is fuel. Okay. So if you have a great LinkedIn profile, you've done all the things I talked about earlier with your profile, picture and background, education, experience, interest, all those things are really good, and you never engage with the platform, you're not going to show up as high on a search filter as someone who uses it every day. Okay. So think of every time you engage with the platform as fuel. You like something, you connect with someone, you comment on something, you post something, you repost something. Those are touch points. And every time you interact with the platform, it's just giving you more fuel, even down to how quickly you answer messages and how quickly you respond to connection requests, right? So someone like myself who's on the platform every day, I'm interacting with the platform as much as I possibly can in my day by liking, commenting, sharing, connecting, all of the things, right? If someone were to do, they're trying to find, someone for whatever criteria, I'm going to show up higher on that search engine optimization than someone who doesn't engage with the platform very often. Okay. And I say you need five minutes a day, right? You can find 5 minutes, even if you don't have a whole 5 minutes, you can find a minute here and a minute there in your day to just interact with the platform. Just get it on your phone. You can download the LinkedIn app on your phone. And when you're waiting for a meeting or waiting at the doctor's office or watching a movie that with your significant other that you're really not that interested in, you can just like, comment, share, post, connect, right? And the platform will really start to work for you. It'll start sending you people they think you should be connected to. It will start sending you jobs that it thinks that you might be interested in, right? Instead of you have to constantly do searches and filtering for this type of stuff, right? And so you want to connect with the right people, right? Your colleagues, your clients, your classmates, people that you meet at conferences, people that you're in clubs with, your neighbors, your kids, parents, the people at your church, at the Little League, wherever you're meeting people, right? You want to connect with them, and we want you also to join these private groups, and this is where we are putting we're constantly pushing content in these groups with programs, free programs, things that are just sitting out there on the internet that we've curated for you. We're constantly just bubbling it up into these groups. So the first one is Wake Forest alumni. The second one is Wake Forest School of Business. And it doesn't have the word alumni attached to it because current students and all faculty and staff are in this group. And then thirdly, Wake Forest Career Connectors. This is where we put all of the jobs. Okay, so if any job comes across my desk and I get them every day, I get at least one every day. Sometimes I get 3 or 4, right? If it's for an experienced hire, right? Someone with experience, an alum or an MBA student, this would be, right, the audience for an experienced hire, right? I'm pushing all of those jobs into this Wake Forest Career Connectors. Depending on the job, I might even put it in all 3. Okay, so I'm the person who manages the connection requests with Career Connectors. Carrie Ross and Stacy Owen manage Wake Forest School of Business, and our colleagues over in Alumni Career Development for the university manages the Wake Forest Alumni Group. So these are very active groups, and I encourage you all to be just as active in these groups. So if you have a job with your firm that you are hoping to get some Wake Forest talent, to apply to, this is where we would love for you to post those jobs. And then now let's talk about how to find people. This is there's lots of different ways that you can find people. So I'm going to go to stop share. Go here. We're going to go into LinkedIn. All right. Back. Share screen. Share. Can everybody see my LinkedIn now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Like the very first thing that showed up is Ariel is hiring. What's she hiring for? That's a very cool job. With Pinterest, right? I want to see more. This is a very cool job, right? One that I think that a lot of Wake Foresters would be interested in. But we're not here to talk about that. Just showing you as an example. But if I was looking for, let's say I'm really interested for working for Pinterest, and I'd love to find other Wake Forest people who work for Pinterest. I would go up to my search bar and I would type Wake Forest University School. Not that group I just showed you, but you want to choose the school. Okay? Wake Forest University School. Being a little slow. And then once you're on the Wake Forest University page, there's a selection here. There's an option to click alumni. When you click alumni, what LinkedIn is going to do some filtering for you automatically. You can see there's 54,718 Wake Forest University alumni on LinkedIn. It's a big number. And here they've already curated you some nice lists of where they work, where they live. These are the main two categories I look at, but you can use this arrow. You can see what they do, what they're skilled at, and what they studied. But let's say we're back to, we really want to find people, right, who work for Pinterest. You can also hit show more there. And it's going to give you the top 15, I think 15 or 20 cities where Wake Forest people, companies where they work at, and cities that they live in. Okay, but you can see that it stops at 56 people work for Salesforce. So if I wanted to find people who worked at Pinterest, I would add it. And then LinkedIn's going to tell me there's 3 alumni that work at Pinterest. If I scroll down, here they are. You can see Lily, Katie, and Allison. You can see this is their headline, right? So we're making some immediate judgments based off of their profile picture and their headline, their job titles, right? And so if I was applying for a senior account manager or account manager position at all, then I would really think it would be helpful to talk to Allison about her experience at Pinterest. And I press connect. And the pro tip of the day, I know I've given you lots of tips, always add a note. Okay, so I'd add a very direct and short note. You only get 200 characters here, so LinkedIn is making you keep it really short. You make the connection. You're a fellow Wake Forest alum. You want to learn more about Pinterest, and you'd love to get on her calendar and learn more about what she does for Pinterest. Something very simple and short and to the point. Okay. Another thing that I want everybody to think about is that this is just Wake Forest University. So we have to do 2 separate finds. And we have to look at the alumni who are in Wake Forest University School of Business. We're going to get a different list. Okay, so unfortunately, you have to do this find 2 different times. Right, 10,294, a very different number, right? And these are all very different, but we'd have to hit add in Pinterest. And I got 2. And so Lily right? She's in there twice, which I can explain to you how she's in there twice. But Ebby is someone who I'm connected to. I know her really well. She's used just Wake Forest University School of Business. Okay. Any questions on how to find alumni? You can do the same thing by location. You can clear it. And let's say you really want to know of people who live in Asheville, North Carolina. And we have 34 alumni, and their profiles are here. You can even go as far as to do a keyword search. Who works in finance? There's 8. There they are. Super helpful. Another way that you can find people is using some advanced filtering. And this way you need to go through your network, or the selection up at the on the toolbar is my network. And you put my network, manage my network, connections. And then you want to search with filters. Let's say I'm looking for all alumni that I'm connected with that live in Asheville. And so I can, I'd like to just click this all filters. And I come here, and Asheville's not listed as a location, but I can add it. Asheville, North Carolina. And then I go down and I say, I want to know everyone who is a Wake Forest University alum and a Wake Forest School of Business alum. And I can hit show results. And I found 10 people that I'm connected to, okay, that live in Asheville and either went to Wake Forest University or the Wake Forest School of Business. Now, if I want to find, let's undo that. We're going to reset this. Reset it. Reset. Let's say I want to find people who work at Pinterest that went to Wake Forest. I can do it this way, but I don't have the premium subscription. So LinkedIn has been, it's trying to get my money, right? So I'll show you. So I'm going to choose first, second, and third. I'm going to pick company, Pinterest. And then I'm going to go down. I'm going to say school. I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to show results. It's only going to give me, it says there are 4, right? Which sounds right, but I can only see 3. It's blanked out that 4th one because it wants my money, wants to reactivate my premium. And I'm not going to give LinkedIn this money because I can get what I need out of LinkedIn using that alumni search feature that I showed you before. Does that make sense?
Indeed, but do you think, I would think, as an alum, that Wake Forest could afford a premium membership for you for what you do?
They absolutely can. They absolutely can, and they will. It's in the budget, but I'm kind of stubborn.
I hear you.
So we had to get rid of it during the pandemic when there was no money for anyone, and we were supporting the entire university from the School of Business. And so ever since the pandemic, when we dropped, everyone had to drop their premium subscription, I've been able to get around it. And so again, back to that, I'm pretty stubborn.
Cool.
Yeah, so like I can get lost in a rabbit hole with all this filtering and sorting. I also want to show you this jobs feature. There's a lot of jobs on LinkedIn. Companies and recruiters, they have to pay LinkedIn to advertise jobs. So there's a little less noise than something like an Indeed, but there's still a lot of jobs. And so, so you can get LinkedIn to do some of this stuff for you, right? So let's just say that I'm looking for a director of career development. No matching jobs. Oh, and I don't know why this, I don't know what this is. Let me get rid of it. Liberia. I don't want to move to Liberia, so cool. Okay. Okay, here we go. So I've gone up into the search bar. I said I want to see Director of Career Development. And LinkedIn's going to curate this really fantastic list for me. But if I select this set alert feature here and I turn that on, depending how you have your notifications set up in your settings, LinkedIn is going to push me an email notification either daily, weekly, monthly. You can even do it for multiple times in a day. Anytime a job hits LinkedIn that falls into this category. And so when you select these alerts, LinkedIn it gives LinkedIn some really good intel about who you are. And it'll really start pushing jobs to you that you may not have found in your own, job search, keyword search, or however you're searching jobs on LinkedIn. And so those alerts are super helpful. All right, let me stop share, go back into my PowerPoint. Hold up. All right, so we know how to find people. We know how to find jobs. I've, right, given you, I don't know why this isn't in, well, I've given you my pro tip on the best practices when it comes to connecting. And so want to also reiterate, right, to be active on the platform. The more you're on the platform, the harder the platform's going to work for you. All right. Talked about filters, our key takeaways. Wrapping up here. I told you I had a full hour and I wasn't kidding. Update your profile to best represent your professional brand. Grow your network and connect with people that you meet and the people you want to know, right? Follow clients, follow companies, follow competitors to stay informed. Your feed's going to be really rich if you follow companies and clients and competitors that you're really interested in, and then be active. Any questions?
Sure. I'm pretty deep into my career and semi-retired, and I'm doing more freelancing and solopreneurs and that kind of thing. And I know the vast majority are using LinkedIn to find jobs, but would we ever think about that in the future as for folks that may not want your typical, full-time job, or partnerships or contracts? Like we saw that Pinterest one, which was great. It was a contract role, which is cool. It's not a typical, FTE like it used to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could take it offline. It was just more, and I love LinkedIn. I am one of the first 100,000 users since 2003, and it's been great over the past 20 years. But it's just that sometimes I'm out of sync with the normal job search. So just putting it out there. I mean,
that's great. Yeah, we love that kind of feedback. And so, do you have the Sales Navigator feature?
I tried it, and I hate to admit it. I tried it for a little bit, just for free, and I didn't really push it too much. That was much on me than anything else. It wasn't that easy. I thought, okay, here it is, it'll be easy, and it was a pain, and I was like, hey, worth it. And I will see you next Tuesday. I'm thinking about joining Andy Patel, who I met through the network. I didn't meet him on these calls. He had posted something a while back, and then I, had messaged him, and now we're friends and we're doing some stuff together, which is pretty cool.
Awesome. So, we love
he's great. So,
I'll think about like LinkedIn for not the job seeker. How does that sound?
Well, more gigs or contracts, or not the FTE per se. Especially in this environment, more and more of us are going to do freelancing and contracting, which is cool. And I don't really need to do the 40 hours like I used to. So it's just, like I said, I figured I'd mention in the past meetings, I haven't wanted to say anything, but also I just wanted to, bring it up. And we could talk about it more next Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Any other questions? Please, 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 please connect with me on LinkedIn. Be sure to add a note. And continue to connect with other Wake Foresters, and send us any kind of ideas that you have for potential programming in the future. And so have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
You're so welcome.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya. Bye-bye.